Community Viewpoint.
Hello everyone and welcome to Community Viewpoint. I am Donna Lamm and I will be filling in for John Pollock today. I just want to say right out front, I've been here since 1977 and we have some pretty important things to talk about today. The guest I have with me today is Lucille Piper. Lucille is also a long-term resident of Pahrump and a 4-H leader. And the reason we're here today is to talk about the fact that the county commissioners are planning to defund the whole extension service, which I think would be a horrible tragedy here in the Valley. And we're here to talk about what that extension service provides for all of us and has for many years. So welcome, Lucille.
Thank you, Donna.
And I would like to start, I guess, because you have been involved with 4-H since you were 8 years old?
About 9 years old.
About 9 years old. And out here in Pahrump, you've been working for 8 years
About
with
8
the
years.
extension service.
Right.
So I think that a lot of people may not realize how much the extension service and the 4-H does for the children here. It's not just showing animals.
Right.
There are so many more things than I even realized. So can you clue us in on some of those things?
Sure. 4-H is for children ages 5 through 19, and once they age out, they go on to whatever college. Most of them this year, I think we had 4 or 5 going to college. It's $1 a year for the insurance, and enrollment is an all-year thing, going on all year round. We teach in leadership. We like to teach the positive youth development. And our projects right now at the moment that we have are cooking, dancing, rock hounds, sewing, shooting sports, including archery, arts and crafts, tabletop games, teen club, and livestock, which has right now pig, goat, and rabbits. And so all these items that are in our project, these items in the projects are all bought locally. They provide the cooking with, the grocery stores and everything else. And the furniture and the livestock with their feed and all. So everything else here is as we buy it locally, as much as we can. Other expenses in 4-H, we are covered by either yard sales or car washes.
Okay, and that's not the only, 4-H is a big part of the extension service, but they also have the master gardeners. And I have to tell you, when I first came here in 1977, that's the first place I went. They had tree sales. I now have huge trees that I bought from the extension service for $1, I think.
Yes.
And so that's only a little part of the master gardeners. They have training classes, they have canning and food preservation classes. They have just a huge list of things that they do.
Yes.
Farmers market.
Farmers market is big.
Yeah, so you want to elaborate on some of that?
Sure. Farmers market, they're on Saturdays at from 9 to noon at draft picks. And where the gardeners have excess food, they can take there and sell. They're also participate in the cottage food industry, which is under strict regulations and all. People can do their jams and jellies and baked goods and sell them there at the farmers market. Mm-hmm. Also, they will accept the coupons, the $2 coupons that seniors receive from the state. They will take those in. And so they do a lot. The Master Gardeners do an awful lot. They take the lead in a lot of public events. They judge at the Fall Festival. They recycle the Christmas trees. They have usually vegetable garden tours. Mm-hmm. And they have pruning workshops and food preservations and a lot of community service.
Yeah, and that's something that we do need to talk about, Lucille, is the community services that they provide. And part of that, I think, they have programs not only for children, not only for adults who garden or put food up, but also for the seniors.
Correct.
I think that's so important because there are so many senior citizens here, and they have Alzheimer's support classes. Mm-hmm. They have classes for caregivers of the elderly. And since I have a 94-year-old father, that's really important to me. And so I recognize that there's a lot of that going on here in Pahrump.
Yes.
So
yes.
They do so many things for the locals. Now, all the people who work at the extension service volunteer their time. And we have a few statistics about that.
Right.
Let's start with the fact that the amount that is funded by the county is $112,000 a year.
That's my belief. I think that's what it is.
About that.
About that, yeah.
And you have some statistics here on the volunteers.
I do. On the 4-H area, we have volunteer hours for a year is about like almost 1,200 hours. And it equals in in-kind dollars, it goes to $26,518. And the master gardeners, their hours are $3,285, and it equals about $74,000. So totally, between the two programs, we contribute over $100,000 to all, just the volunteers giving their time and any expenses that they donate and all that. So
right.
It's very good.
So it's important to note, I think, that the money from the commissioners that goes there is for building grounds and maintenance, power, copy machines, papers, because they hand out huge amounts of information. Literature to the public. I mean, I've picked up things on wells and septics there.
Right.
You know, just a tremendous amount of information. And if we don't have that service, we're not going to get all these benefits to the community.
No.
And so, you know, this is a very, very important thing that they do in this area. And it would also shut down the Tonopah, I guess. I mean, they fund Tonopah as well as Pahrump.
Right, so I understand, yes.
Yeah.
So
it's
a lot of children.
It's a lot of children. In fact, Lucille and I discussed it. My kids were in 4-H. When we first came out here, we had lambs. Lambs.
Yes.
You know, so, lambs. So I've been involved with 4-H from the very beginning, actually, pretty much. And we think that there are literally thousands of children. Last year you had just 150.
A few years ago we had about 150, and now some of them, they graduate and go on, and some of the project leaders come and go. So it's kind of an open society kind of thing where they come and go. As sometimes the leaders are for 3 months, sometimes they're for 6 months, sometimes they're for a year. It depends on the project that they want to do.
That they want to work on, right? And there are so many projects. And speaking of some of those projects, they worked on Discovery Park. And there's just a lot of areas that they contribute to here in the Pahrump area.
We also, as far as on the 4-H side, we'll send some children to camp every year, and the kids, they all do presentations and demonstrations and performances at the Fall Festival and the Wild West Extravaganza. And this month, they're doing a needy family. They're getting
for Christmas. That's right.
They're doing for a needy family. So yeah, there's probably a lot more I can't even think of right now. But where everything comes up, we say, well, sure, why not? We have someone as an advisor, and we have kids that'll want to do it. We do it, and so
absolutely.
It's nice.
Lucille was sharing with me some of the photos over the past years of the theater and dance and archery and shooting classes for kids, and there's just a myriad of things that they contribute to here. So the main thing is, I think that we have to be a little bit more vocal about this and contact our county commissioners. In particular, in Pahrump, it would be Dan Shinhofen and Butch Boraski for the Pahrump area. Up north in Tonopah, it would be Lorinda Wickman, and they have the 4-H up there as well also. Do they have master gardeners up there too?
I don't think so, but I'm not sure. I think this is the only one is right here.
Okay.
Yeah. They may have gardeners that come down maybe for information.
For the information
probably.
or something, yeah. And I know I am a gardener. I've been doing this here for, oh my gosh, well, since 1978 probably. So I know how difficult it is to get things to grow out here. But if you get the right information, there's a lot of things that will grow very well. And, you know, that's what we need to do is be more local.
Yes.
And I think that's the biggest thing about the whole Extension Service. It is local about local about local.
Right.
Purchasing here, training people here. It's a wonderful program. I think that we would be in terrible shape without it.
Yeah, when I try to tell people that they're going to be defunding our program, the first thing they say to me is, "Well, what are the kids going to do?"
Yeah.
They say there always nothing in this, for kids to do in here in Pahrump, And I says, "Well, what are you going to do? That's the question,
Yeah.
So we like to keep it going. We'd love to have all these children I have them from ages 5 to 14 in my group, and they're wonderful kids, and they're just having a good time.
Yeah, and I thought of something else that the Extension Service does. I know that one year they took a group of kids and they went out and plotted on a GPS all of the tamarisk infestation in Pahrump. And we need to get rid of tamarisk big time because it's sucking our water table up. And so they took the kids out, and I love teaching kids about conservation and stuff like that. So they took them out, and then they taught them how to do the GPS.
Yes, they did.
So they have all those locations, and I forget how many there were, but it was a lot.
It was a lot.
Huge amount. So it's just an incredible program, and whenever there's a need, they find a way to fill it.
We find a way, absolutely.
And do you know how many volunteers are there?
I think right now in the 4-H right now, I think there's about 21 leaders that do all these things, and they're not all necessarily project leaders, but they help out with a lot of the side effects that we have to have. And I think the gardeners maybe have about 30 or so in their members that they do all of this. That's they're busy all the time. They're busy. I mean, this is not considering the work that they do while they're at home planning.
All that stuff, right?
Planning.
Right.
Like for instance, I do the dance, the clogging group, and I have to listen to music. Oh, so sad! I have to listen to music and to try to create a number for the kids to dance, and which gives them,
self-confidence.
Self-confidence out there in front of somebody and everything. So I love it. It's wonderful. I've always been enthralled with 4-H.
Okay, and also just quickly, they also judge at the Fall Festival. They're very much involved with all of that. I mean, there are so many aspects to this program that a lot of people may not be aware of.
It's true. It's true.
So we need to stay on track and talk to those county commissioners and get them to please fund this program. It's really, really important to our community. So, Lucille, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh,
I hope we've
absolutely.
answered a lot of questions people out there might have.
Yeah, I hope so too. So again, just to reiterate, we've got to contact those county commissioners, because if they hear you, they will do something different. If nobody says anything, we'll probably lose the funding. So thank you very much, and get out there and make a difference today in our community.
Save our children.
And save our children. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
Community Viewpoint.